Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jenny Dildine, the LDS Mission Coach, and you are listening to the LDS Mission Podcast, episode number 136, Emotion Work for Goals. I'm Jenny, the LDS Mission Coach, and whether you're preparing to serve a mission, currently serving, a returned missionary, or a missionary mama like me, I created this podcast just for you. Are you searching for epic confidence, ready to love yourself and to learn the how of doing hard things? Then let's go. I will help you step powerfully into your potential and never question your purpose again. It's time to embrace yourself, embrace your mission, embrace your life, and embrace what's next. Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to be hanging out with you today. Actually, that word, that emotion, excited, we're going to talk about a little bit today. We're going to talk all about emotions required to meet your goals. And you might be surprised. You might want to listen all the way through because they're not what maybe you think they are. So we're going to dive into all of that. When this podcast comes out, we only have a few more days. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more days or so, 5 days to register for Mission Prep Plus. You guys, I was thinking about it today, and in the MTC online and in the MTC in Provo and in MTCs all over the world, what you're going to learn is you're going to learn what to do with yourself. It's all of the stuff like that we can observe missionaries doing on the outside, sort of the way they teach and the way that they lead and the way that they serve and the lessons that they teach and how we can observe them sort of accessing the spirit and all of that kind of thing, right? How to meet goals, all of the stuff that we typically think of for what missionaries do. That is what you will learn at the MTC. Now, there's also a component that we very rarely talk about. It's called, what I started thinking about is the behind the scenes, which means the internal work of the stuff that's going on in your heart and in your mind that sometimes can totally get in the way of the stuff that you're doing on the outside, or it completely transform and change the experience that you're having on the outside. Right? So that is what we do in Mission Prep Plus. It's the behind the scenes. Okay, picture maybe like if your mission is a 3-act play or something, everyone's going to be observing what's happening on that stage. You're going to be sending emails. You're going to be talking to people. You're going to be having interviews with your mission president, and everyone on the outside is going to be able to observe what you're doing. And that's what you'll learn in the MTC. Okay. But what you learn in Mission Prep Plus is what's going on backstage, like all of the inner workings, the nuts and bolts of how to think about things and how to feel about things and how to have confidence even when nothing's going the way you want it to, and how to really keep your worth intact when you don't meet your goals, and how to get along with your companion and what to do with failure. All of that stuff is what we do in Mission Prep Plus. And I just believe in it so strongly. I actually am wrapping up a few sessions with a preparing missionary client who went through the program. And I just said, how are things different for you now? And before, when we started, she was worried. She was worried she wasn't prepared. She was worried she wasn't capable. She was comparing herself to missionaries who are actually serving in her ward right now. And she was thinking thoughts like, I'll never be as good as them. I'll never know as much as them. And now we have one more session left together. And she's like, I said, would you be willing to write some kind of a testimonial? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes. She said, I can't even believe how much better I feel and how much more confident I feel. She said, I feel so much peace right now headed into the mission, the peace that I didn't know that I could have. Okay. So it's not like all of her worries are gone. But again, we did the inner workings. We did the behind the scenes. We talked through a bunch of stuff like she's going to miss her dog and she's going to miss her family. And she's lived in the same house for her entire life. So what's that going to be like for her to be in a different place and to have interactions with people? She said she usually tends to put up walls. And so what's that going to look like when she is out in the mission field and she has a companion all the time? Okay. This is the kind of stuff that we do in Mission Prep Plus. And I highly believe that every single person needs it, okay? And if you don't want it or need it, also totally fine. But it will genuinely transform and change your mission experience if you're in there, okay? So you have 5 more days to sign up. If you're heading out on a mission anytime in the next 3 months, I just highly recommend that you get in there. It's basically the cost of 1 month on the mission, and we spend 2 weeks together. Picture it like an intensive boot camp kind of situation where we dive into all of this stuff. You get to ask questions. It's live. It's interactive. I teach a class in there. I have my coaches in there. You get a workbook. I mean, it's just amazing. And it can totally change the way you see yourself and the way you see your mission. So I'm all about it and so excited for our February group. So if you have questions, you can just shoot me an email, jenny@jennydildine.com, or you can go check it out on my website, jennydildine.com. I just highly recommend that everybody do it. And please tell your friends because you're going to save them so much pain and heartache, inner work heartache, behind the scenes heartache, if you have these tools and if they have these tools. Okay? All right, let's hop into emotion work for goals. So one of the things I've noticed is that we have these ideas about the emotions that we need to feel when we're reaching a goal. And in January, there's a lot of talk about goals. I recorded a whole podcast about goals. It's called Habits, Goals, and Dreams. If you're interested in kind of looking that up and seeing the difference between those 3. But we have habits that we want to form of maybe reading our scriptures more or getting to the gym or getting to the temple or getting up on time, whatever it is. Those are our habits. And then we have these bigger goals that we want to meet where all of those things kind of accumulate. Like maybe by the end of the month, we're going to have this many baptisms or whatever it is. And then our dreams are bigger than that, okay? And something way off in the future that doesn't even seem realistic. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out that episode. But in all 3 aspects, in habits, goals, and dreams, we have ideas about what we think we're supposed to be feeling as we're working through those, as we meet those habits, as we meet those goals. So I want you to picture it for yourself. Let's say you want to start the habit of going to the gym 3 times a week, okay? And that habit, if I was to ask you, what do you think is the most useful emotion for you to be feeling? And remember, when we talk about emotions here, I like to think about emotions like fuel in a car. It's going to drive you somewhere. So if you're feeling anxiety, it's going to take you one place and you're going to be doing one set of actions. And if you're feeling peace and contentment and confidence, you're going to be going somewhere else and you're going to be feeling a different set of emotions. Okay, so that's what I want you to think about with emotions. So if I was to ask you, what is the emotion that we need? What's the fuel that we need to meet this habit or to meet this goal? What do you think most people will say? Well, I happened to ask a client this morning. I'm like, okay, so maybe we want to meet that goal. What do you think we need to be feeling? And she was like, I don't know, motivated? And that is what we all think. We all think I need to feel motivated. Listen, friends, today we're going to talk about what we think we should be feeling. We're also going to talk about what we usually end up feeling instead when we're trying to meet a goal, and some emotions that we probably could default to instead that are more useful. Right? So what we think we should be feeling when we're headed towards a goal or we're trying to get in these habits is we think we should feel excited. We think we should feel motivated. We think we should feel confident. Listen, if we all waited around to feel motivated to put our shoes on and trudge through the snow to get to the gym in the middle of January, none of us would ever go. Don't wait to feel motivated. Don't even believe that that's the emotion or the fuel that you think you need. Okay, sometimes you will. Sometimes you'll be able to think thoughts that create feelings where you're just like, I'm excited about this, I'm confident about this, I'm motivated about this. But often when life actually happens and when your brain comes online and tries to talk you out of all of the things and tries to conserve energy and avoid pain, you're not going to be feeling excited, motivated, and confident. What we usually end up feeling is disappointed, guilty, and kind of frustrated with ourselves, right? It's like maybe we don't make it to the gym. We're like, I just feel terrible. I'm just a human, terrible person because I didn't do what I said I was going to do, or I didn't meet that goal, right? I see this with missionaries all the time. It's like they set a goal, and then if they don't meet that goal, their automatic thought is, I'm a bad missionary, I'm the worst, I must not have the spirit, right? That is what your brain will just do on default. And so we end up feeling disappointed, we end up feeling guilty, we end up judging ourselves and feeling frustrated that things aren't going the way that we want them to. Okay, so what we got to be willing to feel, is disappointed. We got to be willing to feel guilt. We got to be willing to feel frustration. If I'm thinking of myself trying to put my shoes on in the morning and head out into the cold for a walk or to go to the gym, I got to feel a little bit of dread. If I'm being honest, that sounds terrible to me. There's no motivation, that fuel available to me, at least not right now. So instead, I'm like, okay, listen, brain, you know what we're going to feel in the morning is we're going to feel some dread. Let's do it. Let's go. This is what I call self-confidence. And I was looking back, I think the last time I recorded a podcast about self-confidence was episode 10. So it's been a while ago. And I probably alluded to it here and there throughout different concepts and things like that, but I want to remind you what self-confidence is. Self-confidence is being willing to feel any emotion. So when you get up in the morning and you want to get to the gym, or you want to get out and do some street contacting or something like that, or you want to do your companionship study, when you do those things, don't wait for motivation. Be like, guess what, brain? Guess what we're doing today? Dread. Doesn't that sound fun? And then you just feel the dread and then you move forward anyway. If you know that you want to get out and have a habit of talking to, let's say, 6 new people every day on the mission, don't wait to feel confident and excited and motivated. You'll feel that sometimes, but the majority of the time, you're probably going to feel nervous and anxious, and it's totally fine. But are you willing? That is what self-confidence is. It's being willing to feel the required emotions and taking action anyway. Okay? So does it all have to be yucky emotions that we feel? No. Like I've said already, sometimes we're going to feel motivated and excited and confident. A good chunk of the time, maybe 50% of the time, we're going to feel disappointed, guilty. We're going to feel a little dread and frustration when we're meeting our goals. The key is to feel those things and keep going and just keep trudging forward towards what it is that you want. Okay, learn how to hold those feelings, feel those feelings, and keep going. But is there something maybe in the middle that doesn't feel like, oh, amazing, rainbows and butterflies, and I'm excited and confident, and something that's not like, oh, now I got to feel the dread and then feel the dread and keep moving forward anyway. And I came up with 3 emotions, and there's probably more, that are kind of in that middle ground. And what's interesting you'll find about these emotions is that they don't feel awesome. They feel a little uncomfortable, but they're also really useful fuel. Okay? So the first one is curiosity. The second one is commitment. And the third one is certainty. These emotions are going to be created by a thought. Remember, on this podcast, we talk about how our thoughts are a little synapse in our brain. They go zzz across our brain and then send emotion, vibration, chemical through our body, which causes us to feel something. Okay, so if we're kind of over feeling disappointed or guilty or frustration or dread, we can opt into feeling curiosity. And curiosity, I always find, comes from a sentence or a thought that sounds like, I wonder, ... So let's say you have a goal of getting married next year. Maybe you're a returned missionary and you're just like, I would really like to be married by the end of the year. Okay. And you find yourself, we're going on dates, we're doing the things, we're on all the places where we can connect with people, we're talking to people, we're networking, we're doing all of that stuff. And maybe it's not going awesome. Maybe we haven't found that perfect person, right? And then we start to notice that our excitement and our motivation and our confidence starts to go tank, right? It starts to go downhill fast. And then where we usually end up is disappointment, guilt, frustration, and dread. When we're like, I gotta go on another date again. Well, if you find yourself there, maybe we can just get to curiosity and be like, I wonder what would make this more fun. I wonder if I'm missing something. I wonder if I could go on more dates. I wonder if my roommate knows anyone that can introduce me. I wonder how so-and-so is doing from back home, right? So all of this is just curiosity about what's going on, about the process, all of that. You can even get curious about yourself. I wonder why I'm so hesitant. I wonder why this isn't fun for me. I wonder if there's something lacking here. Is my confidence low? Actually, what's going on here? Okay, so curiosity, if you notice, isn't like the most amazing feeling to feel. It can be, but at the same time, curiosity means we don't really know. We don't have like the answer. We're just curious about what could possibly be next, okay? So we can also feel commitment. I think this is another useful feeling when you're trying to meet your goals. And the thought that comes to mind that creates commitment for me is no matter what. Here in just a little bit, I got to go pick my daughter up from school. It doesn't matter if it's cold outside. Doesn't matter if the roads are icy. Doesn't matter even if I show up a couple minutes late. No matter what, I'm picking my daughter up from school today. And I'm just committed to it. The thing that I love about commitment is it encapsulates and also includes within it all of the emotions that don't feel good. No matter what means I'm going to feel disappointed and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to feel guilty sometimes and keep going. I'm going to feel frustrated sometimes and keep going. I'm going to feel dread sometimes and keep going. So commitment is kind of uncomfy, but it's a useful fuel. The last one is certainty. Certainty feels good, but it might be kind of crowded out sometimes with a little bit of doubt or maybe other people who are questioning you. So certainty can sometimes be challenging to hold on to that emotion, but it is created by a thought that sounds like, this is totally happening. Okay? And I love staying in certainty. And I love this thought, this is for sure happening. That certainty is a really useful fuel because if we've just decided that something's already happening in the future, it gives us the permission to let go of all the drama and like I can't and I shouldn't and this is too hard and I should feel more excited and all of that. And it's like, well, whatever it is today, whatever I'm feeling, we're just going for it. I mean, I'm going to figure out how. Like if I told you right now that at the end of the year you were going to be married, wouldn't that certainty would propel you to figure out how that happens. It would propel you to action to meet that goal. So even goals that seem like crazy, I give you permission to believe those and be like, this is for sure happening. And maybe it doesn't happen on the timetable that you thought. Maybe it doesn't happen in the way that you thought. In fact, most times in my life, when I've decided I'm certain about something, it actually goes down a totally different way than I thought it was going to go down, and in a different path and through different avenues. And so that's just kind of fun. Certainty is a super useful fuel for meeting your goals. Like, this is for sure happening. But then remember, you got to hold on to that goal just a little bit loosely, because if it doesn't happen, then we're back at disappointment, guilt, and frustration, which is not useful. Okay. And you will feel that way, and you totally can, but curiosity, commitment, and certainty are going to be more useful to you. Okay. Let's use one more example. Let's decide that maybe you want to get 5 people to church on Sunday, or 3 people to church on Sunday. And that's kind of the goal that you and your companion have set, or maybe your zone leader had set that goal for everybody in your zone, something like that. And then we realize that we're doing a little bit of work and trying to figure this out. And maybe we've even been really excited about it. And when we first hear the goal, we're like, yeah, we're doing that. And we're feeling excited, motivated, and confident. Well, maybe a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, and they're not coming yet. And then we go to disappointment, we go to guilt, we go to frustration, we go to dread, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I even want to call another person or invite another person to church. Okay. That's might be where we end up feeling. Instead, let's go to curiosity, which is I wonder, or we could go to commitment, is like, this is happening. Like, no matter what, we're going to make this happen. Okay. No matter what, and no matter what I have to feel, no matter what I have to do, no matter how long it takes, we're for sure going to get these 5 people to church. And maybe it won't be until the last week of my mission, but we're doing it no matter what. Okay. And then our other option would be certainty. This is totally happening. And just believe it. Believe it from the inside. For sure, we're getting 5 people to church, and it might look different than I thought it would, and it might be a different path, and it might be different people, and maybe it doesn't happen in the timetable that we thought it was going to, but that is for sure happening, and we introduce that certainty. All right? So when you start your goals, we feel excited. Then we go this other end of the spectrum, but I hope these 3 emotions give you something to sort of work from instead. And then really, we all just have to be willing to feel all the emotions. We have to be willing to feel. That's what self-confidence is. And that is what will help propel you closer and closer and closer to whatever it is you want. Does that make sense? Don't wait to feel motivated and excited. Feel the yucky feelings, keep taking steps. And if you want just a little bit different fuel, try curiosity, commitment, and certainty. All right. I hope these emotions and these thoughts help you get closer to the goals that you've set. And happy end of January. We'll talk to you next time. Serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can present a unique set of challenges. And many of those challenges you might not even see coming. So you're going to want a unique set of solutions. It's easier than you think to overcome worry and anxiety, serve the successful mission you've always dreamed of, and navigate your post-mission experience with confidence. That is why I created some amazing free goodies that I'm sharing in my show notes. Maybe you'll want to grab the free training for preparing missionaries, my video course for RMs, or maybe you and I should hop on a free strategy call. If you're ready to take your preparedness to serve or your preparedness to come home to the next level, then go grab one of those freebies. And in the meantime, no matter which part of the mission experience you are involved in, just know that Jenny, the LDS Mission Coach, is thinking about you every single day.